So I've built some parts in Onshape, and now I want to see how they work together, so I'm going to build an assembly. First things first, I'm going to go in, select Create Assembly, and then I'm going to insert parts into this new space that I've developed. I'm going to insert first the largest one I have, which is my base, and right off the bat I'm going to fix the part. And what that does is it locks that in that space, and it's going to make it a lot easier to assemble things as we go forward. I can bring in any of the parts within the file, so I've built all the parts in the same file. I can go into other documents, bring in things from my Onshape, things that are shared with me from my team, or bring in other standard content. I'm going to bring in this bracket first. This one's kind of easy to work with because it comes in roughly in the orientation that I want it to be in. I think it's really important to sort of get it somewhat in the right spot beforehand. It's just going to make your mating this in a little bit easier to deal with. And so I'm going to use this thing called a fasten mate, which is actually Onshape's smart connector. And it brings up these little white dots, which we're going to refer to as mate connectors. And it allows me to select this one right here and select this one right there on the inside of my circle. And it predicts that that's where we want to be right there, which is nice. Now it knew the circles were that, but it's going to also lock it down. If I don't like that location, I can flip it. And so now my thing is inside of it, so I don't want that. Or I can even rotate it. But that's now locked in place, which is nice, so I can't move it around. Those don't work with every situation. And typically what you'll see is something more commonly to what I'm going to show you this time. So I have this servo and I want to plug it in there, and I want you to notice that this is not an amazing servo. It is just a quick representation of what I need because I don't have to develop everything. And so I'm going to get, that looks like it's about in the right location. So yeah, it looks good. And so now I'm going to go in, I'm going to select planar mate this time, and I'm going to select this side of my servo, right there. I'm going to rotate around, I'm going to select this side of my bracket, and we'll select check. And what you'll notice is that when I move this around, as I still can, wherever I move it, those two faces sort of stay together. Right, the other ones don't, like, because I can move it up and down, I can move it in the other direction. So we're going to add two more. So I'm going to select planar mate again. I'm going to select this. I'll zoom in and select my other one. Alright, there. You notice I sort of went a little crazy there, but that's okay. Because now I can go through and check. I do think it's really important to have that mouse, just because you're going to have to orient the part so much. And so now we're going in and out, which is really nice. And so I can see that I only have to add a constraint right there. So for example, we've just locked up the X and Y axis, and we just need to grab that Z to make this not move anymore. Right there. You'll notice that it does sort of break the file when we do that. Whenever we select it, it's going to re-update and we'll be in good shape. So that one's there. For my next couple parts, I'm going to go in, I'm going to insert some standard content, and I'm going to insert a bolt. We'll put in a 1/4 that's 1 inch. I'm going to bring in one, and I'm going to bring in the other. And you'll notice really quickly that I'm not adding all the files at the same time. It's a lot easier to have it to where we're only dealing with one or two things. I find if I add like 5 or 6 files at the same time, it gets really confusing for me. And so it's just nicer to sort of focus on just one or the other. I'm using the fasten mate again because it is it's hard to modify that since it's just a circle going in a circle. Alright, so those are both there. I want the bolts for those, so I'm going to go ahead and insert the standard content for those nuts. Insert. Insert. There's one, insert, there's two. Again, we're trying to get somewhere around where we need it. can zoom in. We'll use that fasten constraint again. Right there. And right there. Notice it put in, so I'm going to just flip it. Select check. Go over to my other one. Use my fasten again. There and there. Oh, let's flip it again. Select check. So I'm going to check to make sure nothing's moving. So I'm just going to drag on stuff, just holding down, dragging. I also don't want to see these mate connectors anymore. So I'm going to right click on them and I'm going to select hide all mates. Hide mates. Sorry, let's check again. Hide all mate connectors. Sorry. And so that's looking good there. I'm going to go through and add a cam now. There we go. I'm going to do this differently because I want it to be able to rotate. So I'm going to use this revolute constraint. I'm going to grab that top of the circle there and that circle there. Checking real quick. Okay, so it actually put in the wrong orientation, so I'm going to flip it around. Very cool. Now if I grab it, it will rotate. This is fun. Let me insert my follower. So my follower, I'm going to want to sit in this little sleeve and go back and forth. So let me rotate this to get somewhat about where I want it, and that's just going to make it a little easier. Moving it around. I think it's sometimes easiest to look at from different views to get it close. There we go. And so now let's add our planar constraint here. I'm going to have these two faces stay consistent. Right there. And right there. Ooh. That didn't work. Let's try again. So I'm going to do the planar constraint here. I'm going to go in, select that one. And go in and select that one. There we go, much better. Select check. It's kind of hard to see, so I can move this out of the way if I so desire. So I can get my other one. I'll go in, grab my planar constraint right there. That works. And then my planar constraint right there. Cool. And so let's check it real quick. So it should be able to go back and forth, right? Which is what we desire. Cool. And now let's go ahead and add our special constraint between our cam and our follower. So that's going to be this tangent constraint there. Select that. And I'm going to select for my other one, this one. Select check. And I think I should be good now. Let's see. Zoom in. Alright, so it is. Now we have a full assembly that we're able to sort of animate and check to make sure everything's working, which is kind of fun. Good luck. I hope this helped out.